Hello, everyone, and today I am joined by PSI Kirby on another episode of the Game Show Roundtable. And today we are covering 1 versus 100. But first, let's give our guests a chance to introduce themselves. PSI Kirby, would you like to introduce yourself? How you doing?
I'm doing great. Hi guys, my name's Pisai Kobe, and I love 1 versus 100. I saw a small bit of it when I was back in the 2000s. It was a good show, and after rewatching the series now, ooh, it's still great. So let's get started.
Yeah, so 1 versus 100, a mid 2000s, it's the mid 2000s. NBC has Deal or No Deal. And in the midst of Deal or No Deal, they had this show that aired on Fridays. And, it was an intriguing concept for sure. It's one person versus 100 other people. And, that can sometimes be very,
Daunting.
very interesting to say the least. Yeah. And NBC, they got Bob Saget, rip Bob Saget. Rest in peace. They got Bob Saget for the show, and it was really interesting because the concept was not simply trivia. It was another spin on trivia, and it was trying to be like The Next Millionaire. It was super dramatic lighting, and what I would say is that this show succeeded. Like, it succeeded with the trivia. I think the format is great. I think a lot of stuff is great, but there was just something in the format that something just didn't click, and I don't know what that is, but I'm sure we'll find out once we discuss a bit more. So, what are your experiences with 1 versus 100? I guess.
My experiences of 1 versus 100 is basically the themes they have around, which we probably get to later. Which mine were like the ones against the theme with the kids, and that one moment in 1 versus 100, they had like a fictional Santa Claus playing the game for some reason. It's it's weird. Out of all the moments of 1 versus 100 I watched, that moment sticks out to me as a kid.
Yeah, that's good. What I will say is that, like, what's interesting about this show is that, like, who they choose to be the one a lot of time, because they get so many people from like trivia or like celebrities, or there's such a variance in the people they choose to be on the mob, because there's not like one common theme. Whereas, like, with other shows, you would have like a common theme for like the villain of the show. Are you there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You thought you could keep talking.
No. You can just keep bouncing off. Like, you can interrupt me. Like, it's fine. We'll just bounce off each other. It works better that way when we just bounce off each other.
Mm-hmm. So this is okay. For you guys don't know how 1 versus 100 works. One player is known as the one answers multiple choice questions, and the people who knows one is usually the one who's the smarter one out of the 100 people, also known as the mob. They'll be given 3 choices for each multiple choice answer. The mob will answer first, and then the one will lock in the answer. If the one answers correctly, all mobs who got it wrong are eliminated, while everyone who got it right stays in to compete against the one. If the one fails to get even one question wrong, they lose, no money, and the mod splits their cash.
Yes, the remaining mob members will split the cash. And what's intriguing about this is it's kind of like an individual game, even though it's a team game. Because if you're the one, the mob will keep pressuring you to go after them because they want the money. But if you're smart, you will take the money and leave before they can give a chance to get it. The ultimate goal is to knock out all 100 mob members for $1 million. And the show lasted 2 seasons, around 2006 to 2007. And it's so interesting because it was a really good concept and it worked a lot of the time, but there were just too many changes, sort of like Minute to Win It. But I think they had it But this time, I think the changes kind of tanked the show's demise, whereas A Minute to Win It kind of saved it in a way.
I get that.
Is there anything you want to add?
No, nothing else to add. I was wondering why it didn't appear that often, and thanks to your explanation, I understand why it flunked so badly.
Yeah, because there were a lot of format changes. So I guess we can get into one of the things, which is the casting for the show, and this is a big issue. So whoever they cast to be the one, and you'll have like tons of people who like want to get on the show and they want to, compete against the mob. The thing is, on this show, the casting is it's a very delicate issue because on the chase, it's 3 versus 1, but it's 3 normal people versus one person that you always know. You always know who's the one gonna be. It's gonna be the Beast.
Or the chase in its revival, but
yeah, you can keep going.
Yeah, okay. It's either the Beast or the Chaser, depending on which of the 4 people that the 3 players are going to be facing in the 2024, 2025 reboot. I forget which year, but they're 4 hosts in the new version of Chase.
Yeah. And so with the 100 1 versus 100, it's very difficult because why does a certain person get chosen to be the one versus maybe being in the mob? Because you could get chosen to be in the mob and maybe not be the one. And obviously, casting directors are looking for personality. They're looking for interesting dynamics. But a common question that goes up, like, what makes someone more worthy of the one than another person? And that can be very controversial.
Yeah, it might be even if people do decide to become the one, the moment they fail a question, they don't get anything. Plus, if like only 90% of the 90 out of the 100 mob get it right, the money split amongst them won't even matter that much for them to be chosen as the 100. So
yeah, because then
in order to get even money for the mob, a decent amount for the mob is you have to hope that your mob teammates fail, and there's only like 5 of you, 10 or 5, like 10 or less of you to get like a good chunk of money, I think.
Yeah, because you have to split it with everyone else, and that makes it difficult because you have to stay until the end. Yeah, you have to stay until the end and basically make it. You have to stay until the very end, and you have to because you're in the mob, you're just at a disadvantage because you don't know what other people are going to naturally do. And the mob is also at a disadvantage because they have to answer immediately, whereas the one gets all the time. And in theory, that makes sense. By having more people in a way in the mob, but the mob isn't united. In a way they are, but in a way they aren't. At the end of the day, they're still competing against each other, but the difference is the mob doesn't have the option of taking the money, and thus they must pressure the contestant to keep playing. Playing it. And thus whoever is the one is kind of the villain in the show, but it's not really. They're posed as the hero in a way. It's some very interesting dynamics. It's very confusing because it can be interesting to know what you want, because if you just get the questions right, you'll get the money. But I don't know. I'm losing my train of thought.
It's alright. Yeah, you get as a mob. There's no you won't know if you're right or wrong when you quick guess. When the one uses that one help where they pour the mine and get the most popular answer, and if the majority of the people of the mob pick that answer and you didn't, chances are you probably got that question wrong.
Yeah. But okay, so I guess we should talk about the helps. But so there's 3 helps. There's Pull the Mob, which it'll show how many mob members chose an answer, and it'll chose an answer, and if you know if it's over half, you know it's the most popular answer. But
It doesn't mean it's right.
yeah, that's correct. That doesn't mean it's right, of course. And you'll get that information. If you ask the mob, you'll get someone who's right and someone who's wrong. And with the ask the mob, yeah, you can keep going.
It eliminates one wrong choice, because if it's between a wrong answer and a right answer, that means one wrong answer is not being said. So that means that unsaid answer is the wrong answer automatically.
Yeah, and the mob members cannot lie about their answer, but they can lie about why they chose that answer, or about why they chose that answer in an attempt to eliminate the contestant and thus get a portion of the money. And then we have Trust the Mob, which was added in the 6th episode, which is simply just committing to the most popular answer among the mob, which is basically, that's what I was trying to say with Pull the Mob, basically. Yeah, and it's basically just going with the majority of the mob, and it won't help you get a lot of people out, but it will sometimes. Well, that's just depending on how many people you get out. But
if there's a tie between the most popular answer, the one can choose which answer to go for.
That is true. Yes, did not know that. But yeah, each of these can be used once, and these kind of feel like they are helps, but in a way they also, in a way, it forces the mob to cooperate with the contestant in a way. But yeah, it just helps the contestant know what the mob is thinking. Yeah. So okay, I guess we can talk about the way the money was distributed. So in season 1, there was this cumulative money ladder, and it changed over like a course of a few episodes. But basically, for every mob member you eliminated, you would get a certain amount of money. So for the first question, it would be something like $1,000. For or something for like the first 3 questions, it would be like $1,000. For the next 3 questions, it would be $2,000, and from there on out, the money increases for every mob member you knock out. But it increases every question. So the more questions you answer correctly, even if you knock nobody out, the amount per question will increase, regardless. And for every mob member you knock out, you'll get more money. And I think it rewards the contestant very well, because even if everyone stays in for a long time, let's say everyone's getting the questions right for like 9 in a row. On the 10th question, let's say 99 mob members get it wrong, but the questions are now worth $10,000. You've just made $990,000.
That's a lot of moolah right there.
On one question, but if it was $1,000, it would only made $99,000. But the difference is, because they went on the 10th question and not the first, there was more value to it because you had answered 9 questions before previously. And I think it works very well. I think the season 1 format actually works very well. The money ladder, anyway. Or the way you earn money.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything you want to add? You can add something.
I don't think so. Except there's some, depending on the version of the show, it changes how the money ladder works. Like like increases it, for every mob member, for every for the first 10 you gain $10,000, and for the next row it's $20,000 for the mob, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, in season 1 it goes by the number of by the question you're on. In season 2, they changed it to a regular money tree, where it was just for every 10 members you knock out, you get another step on the ladder. And while I don't mind season 2's format, season 1's was more interesting, it was more unique, but I don't mind season 2's change a lot.
Yeah, I don't mind that format too much.
Yeah, I don't mind it either. So is there anything memorable you remember from the show, or anything specific that you think would be interesting to point out?
Well, I guess one of the memorable moments I remember is where they brought where while watching these episodes back is bringing a celebrity guest, Ken Jennings, if you know him, the current host of Jeopardy after Alex passed away, and also one of the masterminds in Beat the Masterminds.
Yeah, for sure. Ken has a long career, and I think NBC kind of hit the gold mine with the show with celebrity guests, and for sure with Trivia Legends, because they also had Brad Rutter on. They had Annie Duke on, which I don't know why Annie Duke is special, but she was a No or No Deal as well, so I guess she's good for NBC. But yeah, they also had a kid edition. But there were just so many guests and themes, and I think that's maybe one of the things that led to its downfall is that there were too many themes and not enough regular episodes. Kind of like how The Weakest Link has too many celebrity editions, whereas this show had like a lot of themes and stuff.
Yes, too many themes.
Yeah. Um. Let me see here. What I would say is that in the decision to take the money or keep going with the mob in season 1, it's much more difficult because in season 1, and this is the only criticism of season 1's money ladder, it's much more difficult, I think, for someone to make that decision just because you don't know how much necessarily money you'll gain. Whereas with season 2's money ladder, it's very clear cut. If I knock out 2 more mob members, I'll get $250,000, and there's more incentive later on to just continue.
Yeah,
But
I see
there's
no.
also
I see
there's
no.
also
You can go.
yeah,
You go first.
You can go first.
I guess I don't know any other. I don't know any reason why you want to take the money and then take on the mob when you have a small money amount.
Yeah.
Unless it's in a like a 6-figure number, like $100,000 or $500,000, then I'd probably take the money. But other than that, you'd probably just go for the mob no matter what as the one.
Season 1, the money varies widely, so there could be a lot of craziness that could happen with the money ladder, and it's more unpredictable. Whereas season 2, it's much more predictable, the outcomes. And I guess that's like a compliment or a con you can make it, or a pro and a con. But I think with season 2, what happened was because here's the thing: one wrong answer, you lose all your money. There's no safety net here. It's just you lose everything. You lose all of it, and that can be hard to swallow. And I think that's why they got lucky with their $1 million winner. But I feel like maybe people were bowing out too early with season 2 because you just got to a certain point, and there wasn't enough trust that you would actually make it to the next question. And there's also something there's also something else with the sneak peek. So after you knock out a certain amount of mob members, like around 80, I think, or once you go enough questions, you'll get a sneak peek, and what that allows you to do is basically you'll see the next question, but you won't see the answer choices, and then after that, you'll be asked, "Money? Do you want the money or do you want the mob?" And that can help. Or I think it was the other way around. I don't remember. They either showed you the choices or they showed you the question. I don't remember. Do you remember?
I don't remember. I think I thought they did like a small like multiple choice question in between breaks.
Oh yeah, they did. No, I'm asking about the sneak peek, which is like, so do you know what it? So like the contestant will see the next question, but they won't see. Oh, they'll see the choices of the next question, but they won't. Then they'll get the like, do you want the money or do you want the mob? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think I do.
Yeah, the sneak peek. So Yeah, a sneak peek would allow you to see the choices, I believe, of the next question, and then you would decide on your map. And I thought that was a really great mechanic late in the game because it can incentivize people to maybe go for it or maybe not go for it. It creates a little more drama, I think. So you want to talk about the $1 million winner? The question.
We can.
Did you see the $1 million winner? Oh, I think we should talk about. Did you see the prime number question?
The prime number.
It's in that same episode.
I don't
The
think
Battle of the Sexes episode. Did you see the Battle of the Sexes episode?
I don't think I haven't got there throughout my research when we did this podcast.
Oh, okay. Have you seen the $1 million winner or not?
I believe I did. Yes.
Okay, we'll talk about the $1 million winner, but first I want to just talk about really quick about the prime number question. So it was one woman versus 100 men, and basically, there was this question about like which of these numbers is not prime, and she asked a mob member, and you really shouldn't have to. I mean, maybe you don't remember prime numbers, but
prime numbers.
She got the question wrong. She got the question wrong, and I think a mob member lied to her about their reasoning about why they chose a certain answer. That mob member also chose the wrong answer since they had to be honest about their choice. But
oh wait, about the prime number one. I don't think it was. I don't think I asked what the prime number was, but which movie is a prime number? Like
oh yeah, Ocean's 11. Like yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that one now.
Yeah, Ocean's 11.
It took me some time to think about it. Ocean's 11. What were the other answer choices?
I'm trying to think. I gotta like. Yeah. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I do remember that. I think it was like 4 and 2. I feel like that's what it was. I feel like 4 and 2 were the other ones. I don't remember what the specific answers were though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So with Jason Luna, yeah, with Jason Luna, so yeah, with Jason Luna, he had a question with greeting cards in Christmas, I believe.
Hallmark cards.
Yeah, Hallmark. So yeah, back to the prime number question really quick. Yeah, it was Scary Movie 4 and Police Academy 6. And it says a prime number is in the title of which movie, and she asked the mob, she asked this guy, and like, yeah, Police Academy 6 got eliminated from contention. And basically, I'm sorry guys. I'm like trying to remember, but yeah, so she was down to Scary Movie 4 and Ocean's 11, and yeah, and she asked 2 people, and one of them gave her 4, and one of them gave her 11, and she went with the person who said 4, and she got eliminated.
Mm-hmm.
And all the men won, took her money. But yeah, back to Jason Luna. So with the Hallmark cards, there were like 15 women left. He has like $250,000, and basically, this was the funniest thing ever because so basically it was like, okay, what's the biggest card giving holiday of the year? When I first, and this is the first $1 million win I saw on TV. When I was a kid, and I watched this on GSN reruns. And it was crazy. And it was crazy to think because it was crazy to think about because I at that point had not thought $1 million winners were possible for some reason. I just from watching Minutes to Win and watching other shows, I was like, the $1 million prize is not. It's just there as like no one's actually ever gonna win $1 million. But I saw someone win $1 million on this, and that's crazy. That's crazy. What are your thoughts on the $1 million win or the question or anything?
I was praying that he would actually get it right because for the most card-giving holiday of the year, it was between Christmas, Mother's Day, and Valentine's Day. And it was I knew it was Christmas because for Mother's Day, you don't for Mother's Day and Valentine's Day. While you don't really give out cards. So in elementary school, you might give your classmate a card for Valentine's Day, but other than that, most people who aren't in school just give Valentine's Day like in person instead of with a card. Christmas cards just make more sense with all your relatives.
Yeah. Yeah, like what I would say is that like Mother's Day, like sure, people have a mother, but they don't always have a mother to give it to, and like Christmas, like you just have cards swinging left and right for like presents and stuff, and like a bunch of stuff. Whereas Mother's Day and Valentine's Day, and it was funny because it was against 15 women, and like all 15 women picked Mother's Day or they picked Valentine's Day, and that was funny. That was really funny to me because before they revealed the answer, they show who got it wrong, and all the women got it wrong, and it was basically like if anyone picked Christmas, obviously he's wrong, but what was interesting about it was that all 15 women either picked Mother's Day or they picked Valentine's Day because that was just so like, of course, like, not to say anything, but like two of the answer choices lean towards like women-oriented holidays, and of course the one man that maybe is thinking on a broader spectrum picks Christmas, which is funny to me. What are you looking up? No offense.
I don't know if I don't know if I don't know about if I was thinking about what would happen if the one and the mob all get it wrong. All 101 players get it.
Oh, if everyone gets it wrong, no money. There's just no money. Everyone goes home like broke.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous. Which is a little ridiculous in my... I kind of wanted it to happen, to be honest. It was like $1 million or nothing at that point. It was like... I kind of wanted it to happen, and then part of me was like... I'm glad he won, but... Yeah, because like, you can just see the women's faces. They're like... They're kind of in regret, but they're also like happy for him, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's crazy how they amped it up. It was interesting. But yeah, that was $1 million one. What I would say is that... Do you want to talk about the GSN version, or do you want to...
You can talk about the GSN version.
Okay. Trying to think if we missed anything really fast. Just trying to remember. That wasn't like... Yeah, so the ratings dropped off, mostly because of the way the casting is. And this show, it's like a hard to upkeep show. Like, you can't just keep getting people and like relying on the same people to keep filling slots. Eventually, I feel like on this show, you're just gonna run out of spots or people who want to be on, or like people who... Or like exciting personalities. Like, you're gonna run out of, I feel... You won't run out, but you'll feel like... something is
Wrong.
how do I describe it? I feel like it just feels repetitive at some point for some reason, or like it feels like more people should be getting a shot because there's some people who are just never gonna be the one. And maybe because do you think they should change it to maybe like the one is chosen differently? Because I feel like that's still a big issue that happens.
Yeah, I think so. Or maybe I got one idea that they could do is if the one gets it wrong, they go to the mob, and all the mob members who got the question right, one is chosen at random to be the new one, and has to beat the other the teammates who won the mob.
Or maybe who has the best accuracy, or who has the Well, no, because to stay in, you have to get them all right. Yeah. So maybe whoever answered the question the fastest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe that.
Imagine the one getting the question wrong and 20 people get it right. The one out of 20 in the mob is in the one seat, and it's now 1 versus 19, and then the new one has to
and I guess
the players.
The 19 would still, and maybe the 19 still split the money.
Yes.
The other 19 still split the money, and then we can say those 19 can like after their next show they get like, okay, you're done, we used you, you won money, so Because there's some people who will be on for like shows and like still win nothing. But yeah, let's move on to the GSN version. I guess. Do you have anything else to say about the
I,
NBC version? Because I know you haven't.
I don't think so.
Okay. Okay. The GSN version. They got Carrie Ann and Abba to do it, and they got this, and it was really interesting when they got it because it was 2010, so same year as Minute to Win It, and Baggage and all those fun stuff. And GSN, they were on an uptick, but they were still kind of in the dumps. But and I think this version. So in this version, all the mob members are not in the studio; they are on webcam. So they're basically on Skype, or they're basically all on Skype. They're all on webcam from home or from somewhere in the studio a lot. And the host is Carrie Ann Inaba. I think she was a good host. I do think her personality is very good. And what I will say is that the difference is the top prize was like $50,000. They raised it a little bit for $100,000, but the money ladder was not doing it. It went. I feel like there weren't enough stakes early on in the game, and I believe they removed a help. I don't remember which help they removed. I believe they removed Ask the Mob, but I don't. I know they kept Trust the Mob, or at least they kept Pull the Mob for sure. I don't. Yeah, I believe they got rid of Ask the Mob.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. And basically, that was the only change besides the set. It's like now yellowish, and it's a 20-minute show now, so it has to move a bit faster. So they usually only get one contestant a day, but it does kind of move faster than you think it would.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to say, I guess, about the changes that maybe you think is interesting?
No, not really.
Okay.
You explained it all really well.
Yeah. I would say them like having them on webcam, it doesn't ruin the show for me, but it's kind of interesting because yeah, and they would like talk to certain mob members and it would be interesting, but I feel like this version it was fine. It was just something didn't work about it. I don't know what it is, but something just didn't work about it, and I feel like something didn't work. I honestly don't know what it was, but
Mm-hmm.
I think it was just the repetitiveness or something, or I think the format just got stale again, and it wasn't. And the lower top prize, it kind of like it did incentivize more risk, but it's really hard to just knock out all 100 mob members. And with a show like because like it's not $1 million, right? So
Yeah.
because when someone wins $1 million on the NBC version, it's like, oh my god, this is like never happened before. It's like huge moment, right? But it's like, but when top prize is now $50,000, is not. If that's not getting one consistently, it feels like something is off, right? Because $50,000 is not as much money as $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
Not to take anything from GSM's question. Yeah, is there anything you want to comment on there?
I guess more of a question. What would you say makes this different to for say Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Because both game shows require not to get as many to get answer questions to get $1 million. The only difference is you're facing against yourself and not other members.
Yeah, what's the difference with Millionaires? There's like, when it ends.
Yeah.
Whereas here, it could go on basically forever. It could go on possibly forever, which I think makes the game really hard to win, in a way. Obviously, that's not always the case, but most of the time on GSN version, like they'll go for one of the harder questions and they'll get it wrong. But
Yeah.
do you have anything specific?
Not really.
Okay. So let's see. I think so. Is there anything else, just in general, about 1 vs. 100 that you enjoyed, or is there anything else that you think is interesting to talk about,
Well,
or anything you want to point out? Just like anything, you can throw anything out.
I've been doing research for the 1 vs. 100 thing. It's kind of cool that they had an Xbox Live game of it.
Yeah, that was interesting. I will say that it was very interesting to see that come to fruition, but it was just I wasn't there for that, but I'm sure for whoever played it was very interesting. It'd be interesting to have that back, or some form of it. There are great videos on YouTube of the game. Yeah. But I just think, yeah. So I think I want to wrap this up. So the final things I would say about the format would be that it's a really hard format to execute, but it can be done. It can be done well. It can be done, but I don't think it's going to stay on the air for a very long time. It can stay on the air for a bit, and then you can bring it back later, but you can't. I feel like this is the type of show where you can't keep it on, and you can't put it on too much. If you put it on too much, it's gonna drag, and I don't know why. But
Yeah.
why do you think the show got canceled, or why do you think maybe it didn't succeed as much as it could have?
Yeah, probably because they were how repetitive it is and how similar it is to Millionaire, where you don't know how when it's gonna end, because who knows? Imagine doing over 20 questions with you and one my member who's test of trivia over and over, and it never ends. And sometimes I wonder if they cut the questions if that to save time slots for the show, because they can only put up about 30 minutes of one time for the show. So who knows?
That is true. They did straddle a bit, but I could definitely see some cutting questions and stuff.
Yeah, and getting 100 people there seems easier said than done. If they
Yeah.
if they want to bring it back, maybe it shouldn't be a game show, but more like a for maybe like for an online thing, like for the Xbox Live. I could see having a 1 vs. 100 for for the Switch for the Switch 2 or Xbox One or PS5.
Yeah. You know what? I think this would work really well as a video game, like online play, like the Xbox version kind of did, where it picks maybe a random person to be the one, or and then the 100 or the mob, and it was very interesting. I think a lot of people would play it if there was some sort of incentive, maybe like platinum points or something. Yeah, but I guess there's not much else to say, but I would say that that the format, it does work, it just won't last long. But yeah, that's mostly what we have for this week, and everyone, stay tuned for next week when we cover Millionaire after Regis, because there's a lot of twists and turns. There was a clock, we had the shuffle format, we had the very interesting Harrison era that revived the format, and there's just a lot to cover. So thank you for watching, and PSI Kirby, is there anything you want to shout out before we leave?
Not really. That's thank you for having me on for this 1 vs. 100 podcast.
Yeah, it was a great time with you. It was a great time to talk with you about the show, and this podcast was a little bit more laid back, but
Yeah.
I think it worked well.
Yeah, for those listening, I'll probably be on a podcast for Millionaire as well, and the one following that, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
Yeah, the fifth grade is gonna be interesting, but
yeah, I'm more educated on those shows than 1 vs. 100.
Yeah, 1 vs. 100 is one of those where there's not much to talk about because the game is so simple. in a way. In a way, it's very simple. It's a very simple game. It's very simple. But I really want to talk about it just because of the way the casting is because the casting is such a huge part of it. You can't have like one person get casted over another and be like, well, why did I get casted? Why am I not the one winning like hundreds of thousands of dollars? And it can sting a bit. It can sting a lot to those who and I think that was very interesting to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, that will do it for this week. I just want to give a shout out to I know one of our great subscribers says we're really wanting a shout out. So Sheriff Curry, you get a shout out this week, and you get a shout out this week, and yeah, he should be on my channel. I will put his channel link in the description, and plays a lot of game show games, kind of like they're on PC games, and they're not commentary, so if you ever just want to watch some games and relax, that's where to go. But that will do it for this week, everyone. I know it was kind of a slow week. I know it was kind of a laid back week, but trust me, it's going to be back on next week with Millionaire. It's gonna be fun.
Mm-hmm.
So till later. See everyone. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.